TU Wien Space Team, we think that for a good education, it consists of two parts. At first, the theoretical part, where the university is perfect for that, and second, the practice, where one works on real projects in a real team with some responsibility. And the TU Wien Space Team is one place to do that. The thing we do on a day-to-day basis is building rockets and rocket engines and satellites and stuff. But in the end, we want to have fun and learn a lot. And the way we achieve that is by having really cool projects, because then you get the people to stay in the team. We do all of this in our free time. So if it's not fun, if it's not cool, if you wouldn't learn a whole lot, the people wouldn't stay. And that's you could say that's the reason why we try to have a cool team and really cool projects with huge goals. And how many people are we? I would say about 120 active members, and all of them are like part of the space team, but there are different projects inside the space team. We built a 100-kilometer rocket to reach the Kármán line, which with solid boosters, which is launching in America in the Black Rock Desert. We have already built a liquid rocket engine, which was capable of flying to 3 kilometers, and it was the first to be recovered again in Europe. We also built a larger rocket engine with 800 newtons of thrust, 8 kilonewtons of thrust. I think that was also one of the biggest liquid rockets in Europe. We've built a satellite already. It was a cooperation with some other people from university and so on. Now we built our second satellite, but all by ourselves, so by students. We built a hydrogen plane, which is, it's more of a drone, like 2-meter wingspan, flies with hydrogen and should be capable of crossing Austria, so our home country. It has a flight path of about 400 kilometers, and stretch goal is with a 360-degree camera flying through the valleys of the Alps with a live stream. And then we have some other smaller projects. For example, we're a launch provider for the ESA concept competition. We've got a beginners project where small teams are building the first solid rocket. We also built a hybrid rocket, which is quite new and started also as a beginner's project. And that's basically the space team.
The TU Wien Space Team is a quite big association, which has lots of different projects. And I think the common thing about it is the enthusiasm about space and the willingness to fail during hard projects, but continue until they work and really get something to work. And Lamarr is just one of many projects. And there we have the story is basically I'm not quite sure. I believe the drive to build a liquid rocket and to build a better one. Last year we built one, so now we want to have a better one, and a bigger one, and improve on basically every aspect.
How many times did you fail on the liquid engine project? How many problems did you had? A rough estimate.
Not really something you can count. It's a constant thing, and it's more something that you succeed once, and then you fail and fail and fail, but you continue until you succeed again. And every failure you basically learn something, and everything you learn puts you closer to your goal.
You could certainly say this about the Lamarr project and the Microhubert project. I mean, last year in the end at the EuRoC, we were lucky that in the end at the EuRoC competition, everything worked out. So this was the one where we didn't fail, but everything worked as planned. So we started and landed again.
So you believe that if you want to learn the best way, you should both go to university in a space team if you're interested in space stuff?
I think that's a good a good way of putting it. It's not
Definitely.
like the like joining a space team is the best thing you can do for like your career and well-being and learning. It's also about university. So I think it's like they fit together really well, because university is usually only the theoretical stuff. And yeah, the space team is the complete opposite side. And I think it's a great way to join those two together to get a good technical education as a whole.
I also believe that hands-on experience and just learning with your hands basically is the most important thing, and doing so in a team and not just on your own in your basement. Do it in a team, and teamwork is very, very important, because no big project has ever been done alone.
How did your team start?
It was 12 years ago, I think. There was some student who did an Erasmus year in France. And in France, at that time, it was a much more usual hobby to build model rockets. And there were competition. And when he came back to Vienna, he said, hey, why isn't there a space team in Vienna? So yeah, he formed one. It was just, 10 people. And in the first year, they built a rocket to 3 kilometers solid. And they participated in this competition in France. And since then, each year we went to France for that competition, but slowly, but really slowly grew, like just some people each year. Then we started to build a Cubesat, which was a cooperation with other universities. And yeah, then we started thinking, hey, we don't want to launch to 3 kilometers. Let's try to break the European rocket like flying height, which was at the time, I think, 21 kilometers. And in our simulation, it says, hey, we could reach way more than that. So let's try to hit 42, because why not? And then the simulation said, hey, we could reach 100. So the Hound project was born, and we try building a bigger rocket. Big means, I think the lift of mass is 36 kilograms, something like that. It's a 2-stage solid rocket. And yeah, then other projects form. Now we build our second Cubesat. We start building liquid rocket engines. And yeah, basically all of our projects just form usually when we're just like, we ordered pizza and we were talking about some stuff. And then we just come up with like a really dumb idea or some idea, doesn't matter. And yeah, then we just go through it and make it a reality. And I think most of our projects formed that way. And today we're like, we don't just build one rocket, but we've got some really diverse projects. As I said, solid rockets, now also a hybrid rocket, a liquid rocket, Cubesats. We also build a hydrogen plane. And I probably forgot some, and then some other smaller projects like for our beginners, and we are also launch provider for the ESA CanSat challenge and so on. So it's a really broad student club as it is today, and you could say it's about 120 active members, something like that. And so it's not one project with 100 people, but 30 people here, 20 here, 10 here. So it's really a broad spectrum. And the TU Wien Space Team is the thing that that keeps us all together. So we share one workspace, and yeah, we of course meet every week the different projects like by accident, and so we really know each other well, and also can really build upon the experience of other projects, because at the end of the day the problems are really similar. And I think that's also one reason why the space team is doing so well on the long term, because there are so many different people, and we're willing to like ask a lot of questions and build upon the work of the people that came before us. And I think that's one of the main reasons why the space team is doing so strong in the last, you could say, decade.
You have quite a lot of people in your team. I guess that's because you have so many projects. There are many people who are interested in at least one of the projects.
Yeah, so usually when people join, they like join the space team, and within the space team, they join like one project. And join is not like you're registered but you show up to the meetings and put your time into it, and then suddenly you find yourself in another project, like by accident, and people are in different projects.
One thing I want to add to Patrick's statement is that also it's not a clear line that you have one project and then you swap and then you're in another one. Oftentimes, for example, electronics people often are in multiple projects because they build on this and then on the other project as well. And so there's, many people which are in multiple projects at the same time. So the question, who is where, is hard to answer because everyone is everywhere.
How is it to study in your university?
Our university, most of us are from the TU Wien or TU Vienna, but I think they don't use the term anymore. And there are all the basic things you can study in the technical university, like computer engineering and physics and chemistry and all that stuff. But we are not too close to university. So most of us are from the TU Vienna, but basically we're entirely separate. We get our workshop from the university and a little bit of funding, but other than that, it's just, this is university, this is us, and we get along really well, but it's not like we're part of university, if this makes sense. But still most of us are from the TU Vienna.
It's not even required that you are a student to join. It's whoever is interested in building cool stuff can join.
And oftentimes when people are finished studying, they just stay at the space team. they work full time, but I guess space team is too cool to quit just because you work somewhere else.
In other teams, you leave when you finish university. At least most leave when they finish university.
Yeah, maybe because we're not too coupled to university. It's hard to say why. It's just a thing that formed, and I think also compared to other teams, the people or some people at the space team stay really long compared to other university teams. Now I think it's my 5th year, but there are people who are at the space team for 8 years, 9 years. One guy for 12 years. So it's maybe 2 years on average, I would say. I mean, a lot of them just 1 week and then you don't never see them again. But maybe 2 years is a good average for time spent in the space team, but some way more.
I believe it's also because it's not at all coupled to the university. Because in other teams, I believe that they are have a requirement to do this for 1 semester or something, and they just do it for uni, but not out of their own drive. And also a big advantage of this is if you have people who were in the team for 8 years, they have a lot of experience and they know stuff. And that's just a huge gain if you have someone who already failed at what you're trying now. They can teach you so much.
Yeah, we really value reviews inside the team because, as George said, if you ask someone who has worked on a similar project, you can just save so much time. It's like so much trial and error you could save just by asking someone who was in a similar situation.